Gonna make it rain.
Lovely Diana. Rain with magic, death elusive. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Her arrows darken the sky, a flight of ravens flying through. Orphic harp, dark lord melody shining through. Death inducer, rain and blood bite your lip. Bellissima in the vampire dress, cracking leather whips. Rain with your magic. Hail Satan, spells of Lucifer. Hail Satan, captain of the wheel. Hail Satan, the lake of fire is clear. Sing the muse. Rain with magic, death elusive. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Goat head soup, it's magic. You can have a giant rubber devil in a tight dress. Whiplash. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Mr. Sandman with the hot purple anointing cream. It knocks him out. The drugs weigh a ton. Snow blonde, do your makeup. Girl, be my private dancer. Hakate says I'm her main squeeze. Lucifer the light bearer. Myrtle of Venus.
Oh boy, check this out. This rainstorm is coming in here, people. Absolutely gorgeous. So we may have to take a dive in a minute, but if we do, we'll be right back. There's a place we can run to. Oh my God. What? Hey, Joey, I'm blacked out here. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, it's gone. Look at that. Hang on, people. We're having text. Look. Give it to me. No. Oh, perfect. Welcome back, people, to Lady Babylon. This is a live session of Renaissance Borderland. What I wanted to do today was to show you the Ronin. I wanted to bring you the Ronin. Do you understand? So we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to look at a subject. And today is the theologian. We're going to look at the theologian and the theologian's response, the theologian's fear, the theologian's inadequacy, and ultimately transparency. A puff of air, a world full of deception and lies. Not. Let me tell you how we're doing this. We are Ronin, right? I'm outside of everything. And so are you, Satanic Congregation. You're outside of everything. That allows us to be free to speak. Do you understand me? I can bring you the things that otherwise I wouldn't be able to bring you. Yes, thank you for having us, Doc. I like that. Yeah. Oh, and congregation, make sure to let Chewy know if there's any audio video problems. Fantastic. Here comes. Okay, people. Now, what are we doing? I want to show you what Ronin can do for you, right? I want to show you what you can do when you are on the outside and you are free. You are free from any obligations, be they financial, some kind of boss or some kind of leader standing over you, or a board or a prevailing cultural idea, some kind of phobia keeping you from the reality. Oh God, it's absolutely despicable what we blow through it, right? Ronin are the balance. Do you understand? We restore balance. Oh God. This is gorgeous stuff. Now, are you ready? What are we going to look at? We're going to look at somebody responding to the things that I've brought forward, to a video. This is the video. First one, we're going to look at video with Bob. right, Bob? And I want people to see the reaction. And people, look, there's tons of reaction videos out there. There's people who have done, there's oodles and gads. You can just scroll up and down. Oh, Sonny Bono, get off of me. You know what I mean? Here's the problem. They're not very helpful because they make the same amateur, untrained, unprofessional statements that show that they don't actually work with the evidence. And if you're a scientist, right, and classical philology people, I want you to realize it's a science, it's language, right? There's no room for interpretation, exegesis, theology. There's no term for hermeneutics and presentation and reinterpretation. You think a real scientist ever interprets? No, dude. You let the science lead you. You let the reason lead. And she's so sexy. There's nothing sexier than reason. People are shocked that I could become an apostate to Christianity over reading Aristotle on the beauty of nature, the sexiness of nature. Right? They don't understand that. How is that possible? This man engaged his reasoning faculties. It's very odd. Okay, here we go. I'm going to call this up. This is people. This is a show called Reason and Theology, which is hilarious because it's like matter and antimatter. You know what I mean? If you've got reason, you don't need theology. You only need theology to cover up your reason. Or else Paul the Apostle, Mr. Viper Immune, wouldn't be walking around saying, "You worship nature. Shame on you." Right? Oh, God. Reason. Isn't it reason gorgeous? Shout out to reason. Shout out to reason. So this is a show. I'll show you this. Called Reason and Theology. And I just want to play some. And to be honest, I want to skip over any of the interview. They still hear me, right? Can you people see me in a little box? Can you put me in a little box? Am I in a little box? Where am I? In the corner? Oh, the corner? Yeah. Fantastic. Looking this way or something? No. People, look, who is this? Exorcist debates possessed Satanist. That's fantastic. Right off the bat. Look at him right off the bat. You know where he sits. People, first of all, look at this fake library. Now, I have seen a lot of fake libraries in my time and a lot of real libraries. God, this is the fakest of the fake, man. There's no way. This looks like it's staged, people. Look, these books. Look at these books. They're all staged. They're color coded, dude. Seriously? Looks like a theater. Looks like a bad theater job. Okay, let's get going. Before this is not about critical people. This is about showing what is going to happen when you introduce reality, when you bring that Antichrist. Watch the fear. The drug that I'm conveying to this person is causing him to enter into a state of fear. And I want you to follow his eyes. When he watches Bob, you know for a fact he knows he's full of it. And when he watches me, he becomes afraid. Why is that, people? Why do we make the monists run? It must be something profound that we're doing.
Well, welcome back to the Michael Lofton Show on Reason and Theology. So, got a pretty interesting debate / discussion to review here. We're actually going to watch a significant portion of it together. It is the Bob Larson versus Eamon Hillman debate.
Okay, it's Amon. This guy has a problem the whole time. Even though he hears other people pronounce it Amon. It's Amon. For everybody out there, Amon. Fantastic. Let's scoot ahead to where he gets us some meat.
In fairness, Eamon's positions are outrageously scandalous.
Okay, my positions, I wasn't aware that I had positions. But when you are with a theologian, you will have positions. Remember, I've come from the laboratory, right? And now I'm being told you have positions. Where has the shift taken place? The shift is from reason to theology.
Some would say even blasphemous. So please be
Oh, I would say blasphemous. Oh, buddy, don't you know it?
aware. The subject nature of today's discussion is going to be highly disturbing. Some of the accusations he makes against Jesus are highly disturbing and offensive.
They are offensive to me that Jesus Christ was arrested in the public park with 13 underage dudes, one of which was nude and had a bandage on his hoo-ha. Mark 14, 51 and 52. Fantastic.
Yet, since this is the society in which we live in today,
What?
and these are the kinds of discussions that are out there, for better or worse, it's important that we engage them. And he is making some pretty outrageous claims about Jesus, which I think are worth refuting.
Okay, does anybody else smell the smug? This is theological smug, right? I could walk into this guy's intellectual office and kick him in the colicas. You know what I mean? The hoo-ha binny basket. And what would happen? He would look at me in the face and he would tell me the same kind of stuff he's telling me to control and manipulate. This is a court, people. We don't care about your opinion, right? Just get to the facts, people. Let's see what happens.
Which we will certainly be doing in this video, as well as just simply analyzing everything else that takes place in this exchange/debate. And
Blah, blah,
dive
blah.
in here. Going to share my screen. And let's begin after the part where he attempts to convert the host. That is Bob Larson. Bob Larson leads him through a prayer to ask God to open him up to the truth of Christianity and show him if it's true, and everything that goes along with that. So we're skipping all that part, and we're cutting to the chase where there's a discussion, if you can call it that, on the nature of the Bible, the biblical text. Eamon is going to contend that Larson cannot actually read the Bible because all he can do is read a translation. He cannot read.
I'm not going to contend that. That's a fact, people. I want you to realize this is something special I'm trying to bring you. Dude, I've been in the octagon 35 years. Okay? This is not a game. This is not a game at all. We are Ronin. Do you understand me? Now, this man is about to say something that reveals his complete and total ignorance of classical languages, particularly, specifically, not just languages. I said plural. Language, particularly ancient Greek. And I'm going to correct something that people have been saying in other videos over a long time. And these experts, Chewy, make me big, and these experts that come out, people, these experts that come out, and who are these people? They're all biblical studies people. They're all theology people. None of them are legitimate classicists. What is a classicist? Let me remind you. People, what is a classicist? It is somebody who has studied classical Greek and Latin. Classical Greek. That is the focus, people. There's no focus on BS. It is all pure language. It is linguistics. It is history. Most of all, it is pursuing those texts. And that is what they don't have the skill. He's about to incorrectly define what classics is. There's people who will tell you, oh, Hillman doesn't know what he's talking about because this is Koine. And that's classical Greek that he does. Oh my God. Oh my God. Do you understand? You don't understand because you don't study this stuff. That is the same thing. Koine is a dialectic variation within divisions of classical Greek, including Ionian, Dorian, Attic. Do you even know what your Bible's koine is? Koine is a tendency toward commonality. It's the movement of a language. So for you to hear him say he doesn't know koine, he does classical Greek. Do you hear? He doesn't even know what anything about the language, anything. A classical philologist is trained in this discipline. It's like saying a hematologist, right? Do you hear that? That's a specialization. Don't think you're going to tell a hematologist about blood. Don't think you're going to tell an immunologist about IgG. By the way, did everybody see that they brought the dude at ground zero with all the antivenom? This dude's been having stuff sting him for a long time, right? The poisonous, right? All the vipers, all the goodies he's been taking. He's got like 830, these administrations. Finally, he's built up the antibodies that they talk about, like with the Silly, the tribe. In antiquity, it's a PS on the front, right? Because the Greeks are the ones discussing it. It's their science, you know what I mean? These people who have acquired an immunity, which is what this dude's doing. They're going to isolate his IgG and they're going to run it through. And next thing you know, when you get bitten by some venomous snake, this dude's IG is going to be processed and turned into some immortal line of antivenom. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that fantastic? Oh, God. Gorgeous technology, right? And by the way, people, the Greek reporter just said some stuff that they found dates the Greek back earlier than we thought, which, they're always pushing stuff back. But absolutely gorgeous, right? Good for you, Mother Greek, for being so bossy and gorgeous and just plowing over everybody else. Let's continue on with this guy. I'm going to share. Boom. Here we go. Okay. This is fun, people. And come on, ask some questions here. We got to.
The Old Testament in Hebrew and Aramaic, and he cannot read the New Testament in Koine Greek. That being said, I don't think, and I don't get the impression that Eamon himself is very proficient in the biblical languages.
Now, wait a minute. Just knowing that he said that, and he said, I don't get the impression, which makes you think he's like a scientist trying to figure this out, right, with his experience, right? This is funny. These guys are funny. Do you understand? Now, why would he be doing this? Because he's not a scientist. Theology and its viral nature are not a science. Okay? The reason, people, that's in your head, that's been implanted there by nature and her beauty, God, it won't take this stuff. It's like seeing a dude that you just absolutely can't stand, would never even consider getting close to, ladies. You know what I'm talking about? Some kind of instinct. No Mo, no Joe.
Not that I'm an expert in them.
No, you sure as hell aren't, because I can tell you that in a second, little punk.
But certainly the experts don't think that he's proficient in all.
Really? How many experts have you talked to? How many classical philologists have you talked to about Christing? How many? Listen, do you know that Christing appears tens of thousands of times? Why don't you tell me about some of the times that it appears, buddy? You don't read that stuff, right? He's going to talk about Alestes in a minute. People, listen to him. That was just an outright lie. Experts don't. I know this guy hasn't talked to any experts who know my work. Absolutely not.
Also, with what I know, I can tell he's not an expert in them either. But he does know more about the biblical text and languages than Bob Larson. So he somewhat has an upper hand here. And he tries to get Larson to play into that, to get into a biblical debate. And Larson just doesn't want to do it. And it ultimately makes Larson look really bad. So let me make sure that you can hear.
Okay.
I've been studying Greek and
I'm sorry, let me correct that echo. I apologize. It should be fixed now.
oh, I thought he was
sorry,
going
I
to
still
say
have
something.
speakers
I'm
on.
sorry, people.
He kind of
Isn't it
asks
six?
a
Is
few
it around
general
six?
questions, makes a few personal ad hominem attacks against Amen, and that was about it. So no, I don't think that he had the courage to come there. I think that he got the $5,000, and he didn't really have to do a whole lot for it. Let's continue.
Oh, that's kudos. Big balls.
No one else will do
Kudos.
it.
Nobody, Bob. And this was Harvard
Okay,
people.
okay,
This
so-
was Harvard.
Hang on, let him go.
But you're not letting me talk.
Let him talk.
You're
Please,
not letting
go
me.
ahead. Former man of God.
Why does he talk like that? I'm not trying to make fun of him, but it's a little odd, right? And he's like this the whole time. Evidently, that's how he always talks, and I don't understand.
To another. People, monists, have a problem with the way that I talk. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? It's the people who get annoyed at the way that I talk, who are saddened mostly by the fact that Christ is a drug and Jesus was arrested in a park with a naked kid. Mark 14:51 and 52. Now you got to ask yourself, why do people who are monists have this tendency? My voice bothers them. Is it something that I'm saying? Is it something that I'm doing, people? Don't you love it? It's part of the combat. Do you see? Do you see? If you want the reality to be out there, these are the guardians who are keeping you from it. They're keeping it. They're not keeping us from it, right? We kicked down the doors and took their Bible, right? That people, seriously, these people won't even talk to me about the Bible. I can ask them very simple questions and they run. All their lives, they've been chasing us talking about the Bible. Now they're running. What is causing the running? Watch how the theologian crumbles.
No,
Appreciates the Bible, Bob. And I just
You're
want
trying.
to know.
Dude pulled out the Nestle Allen text. What is?
Okay, stop right there. Did you see his face? I want you to look into his face. Do you see he's laughing? First of all, it's not the Nestle as in chocolate. It is the Nestle Allen text. And he's talking about addition. So within the last few years, perhaps there's a couple of emendations. And look at him in his, this is what theologians do. This is how they have offices at all. They create a false smugness. He thinks he has something over on me. He thinks he does. Does he realize that I've been reading for 35 years critical editions? Does he realize, does he even know how to translate with a critical edition? Of course he doesn't. Has this fool ever read Lucian? Absolutely not. Has he ever read Homer? Absolutely not. Has he ever read the people writing contemporary with Jesus who are talking about Christing? Absolutely not. But realize how ignorant he is. People, they don't recognize their own ignorance because of their arrogance. And their arrogance comes from their fealty. We are Ronin. We are not arrogant. We are guardians of the sources.
Is that the NA28? I think they're up to the 28th edition now. Greek New Testament critical edition. He says, that's the Bible, Bob. You can't read it.
Please tell me, why was
You-
Jesus
this is
arrested
the
in a
reason
public
I
park
didn't
with a
want you
naked
around
kid?
in this room when I talked with him, is because you're a control freak trying to get the upper hand on everything. So just be a
One
human.
answer. That's the only question I'll
Just
ask
talk
you.
to me.
That's it.
Talk to me as a human being.
Just
Okay.
ask him
Do you
kindly
think
what
it's
your question
possible?
is.
Do you think
As
it's
a human
possible?
being. Okay.
When Jesus was arrested in
I-
Gethsemane with a naked kid, screaming, "I'm not a
Oh,
child."
we know what you think about it. Okay.
Could it
Okay,
be that
okay,
he was
listen, we
actually?
both have
I'm
turns.
about
All right, this is
Okay, right. I'm going to let him comment, but I want you to notice exactly what I'm noticing and what the comments all notice. When I try to talk, I am prevented by being told I am an aggressor. Do you understand what that is? Do you understand that is fear? That is not engagement. That is fear. And a Marine can smell that just as I could sitting there. Now let's hear what the comment is.
It's where he gets really wild. And this is an outrageous claim he's making about Jesus.
Okay, it's outrageous. What you're saying is outrageous. So is the fact that the earth is not flat. If you believe because some theologian has told you, and I don't care if that theologian wore some kind of hat or garment or was your next door neighbor who sleeps in his van, I don't care. It is theology if it is not reason.
That Jesus was a PDF file.
Wait, and people, I just want to make this clear. I have never argued. I've presented evidence. I would never state that Jesus Christ was a PDF of what he say? Was a paiderastes. I would never argue that. The text doesn't say that. That's a judgment. That is a judgment. The text says, Jesus says, I'm not a child trafficker when he is arrested with children, one of which is naked. Okay. Those are the facts. There's no argument in that. Those are the facts, and they stand in the quantum court of justice. Let's keep going. And that's what you can see. You can see that in this guy's eyes, right? He really is afraid, right? And that's what I see as as I'm able to interact. That's what I see. I see fear. Oh, God. People, why else would they be so afraid? Because if you're right? If the evidence supports, right? If that's what it says, oh my God. How many monists do you think have come to the terrible realization in the last 6 months that Jesus Christ was arrested with a naked kid at 4 a.m. screaming, I'm not a trafficker? It bothers them. This attack, koine, right? Do you hear how sloppy? It's so sloppy. The classicists know. Ask a classicist to say I can't translate koine because I do Greek. It's absolutely. You don't even know which koine this is of. Is it Attic? Is it Ionian? Is it Dorian? You don't even know, people, right? These people on these panels they bring in, I refuse to even address them because they're biblical scholars. And those biblical scholars know that if you're going to throw a text on the table with a classicist, you better be able to hold it. You know what I mean? You better be able to translate it. Yeah, fantastic. If you haven't mastered the basics, people, right? And that's what they do on these panels. That's what they do. It's so fun for me to be able to tell you this. It makes me feel really good that I worked my ass off for 12 years through 4 degrees at 3 universities to be able to spot the phonies and the lies. And this is why classicists don't typically engage New Testament people, right? They're not considered up to standard. They're not philologists, right? And when I say, what is a philologist? I'm not saying they just run around loving words. Oh, nerds who love words. No. I'm talking about the analysis of the mechanics of a language that is far advanced to any language that you're hearing now in the world. Yeah. Oh, God. People, I want to say one thing. Make me big for a second, because I want to make a big deal. It keeps freezing. Oh, it keeps freezing. Maybe do what? Yeah. Here we go, people. Excuse me for 1 minute. Oh, is that some of that refresh? Maybe not. Okay, people, I just want to add this. Gobekli Tepe. Gobekli Tepe is a bunch of rocks. Stonehenge, bunch of rocks. Pyramid, Giza, bunch of rocks. The foundation of civilization lies in the language. In the same time that it took those morons to stack up those stones, the Greeks created democracy. The Greeks created science. The Greeks ensured that we would have a language that would grow us. Oh, God. Oh, God. The privilege to be able to study it, right? And never, people ask you, are you ever going to master it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I find curves in Mother Greek's body that are things, subtleties that I hadn't seen every day. I can just watch her and watch the way she moves across the room. Oh, God. Just the motion alone, right? And the psyche coming out. Oh, God. Okay, let's get back to this genius here. Let's see what this theologian's gonna do. Yeah, watch the fear, people. Watch him get fearful. Boom.
And we're going to have to attack this head on because it's a very slanderous accusation. But he's arguing that the biblical text in Greek demonstrates that in the Gospel of Mark. Again, whether or not this stuff should be entertained, this is already in society. The claims are being made, and because it's being entertained in society, it's necessary now to respond to them. And Bob,
okay, people, there's a little bit of a test of where we've been and where we're going, right? You see what kind of effect we're having? Who thinks is this effective? Right now, he doesn't think he should have to have this discussion. But you know what? I come from a free Greece. I come from Athens. Do you understand? When she mastered her tyrants. And she says, we have the obligation to speak.
Larson does not respond to them, unfortunately. So that's what we're going to do.
With a naked kid screaming, I'm not a child.
We know what you think about it. Okay.
Could it be that he was
listen,
actually...
I'm about 30 seconds from walking out.
We have to take turns. I'm going to ask the question, and then we have to stop, and we have to let Bob give his response.
That's reasonable. When Jesus arrested in Gethsemane at 4 a.m. with a naked boy screaming, I am not a child, or leistes in Greek, could it actually be, Bob, that he was kind of doing creepy things?
Bob, the stage is yours.
Are you suggesting that Christ was a pedophile?
No, I'm saying...
Are you saying that he was a pedophile?
No,
are you saying
the
that?
text says that Jesus
Are
Christ...
you saying that Christ was a pedophile?
No.
Yes, he actually is saying that.
Okay, see what they do? They want to force you to make an argument so they can talk about you having an argument. That allows them not to talk about the text. They are both doing the same thing. So far, how much has this theologian contributed? How much do you think his theology degree was worth? He's made a fool of himself by not knowing what ancient Greek is. So now he's sitting here and doing the same thing that Bob is, but he's going to do it with a little more smugness, right?
But Bob needs to address this head on instead of just saying, are you really saying this? And then never refuting it.
Based upon what you think the text.
You teaching in the temple courts and you did not arrest me, but the scriptures must be fulfilled and review this. So,
okay, people. So here he's going to pull out the quote unquote scriptures. And as soon as you hear somebody say scriptures, you know you've left science and now you're in theology, right? You've left any sort of respectable discipline and now you're in theology. And look what he does. He posts a translation. He posts a translation where the dude is running out of his garment, right? He posts a translation that talks about a rebellion. There is none of that shit in there anywhere. Do you understand?
You have in Mark 48. Here is what he is referring to, because he doesn't lay it out very clearly here. But here's what Ammon is referring to. Mark 9:48. Am I leading a rebellion, Jesus said, that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I was with you teaching in the temple courts, and you did not arrest me. But the scriptures must be fulfilled. Then everyone deserted him and fled. A young man wearing nothing but...
Okay, wait a minute. He just read you a translation. Remember, he read you a translation. Am I leading a rebellion? Which is not in the text at all. I have gone over this text with all of you, congregation. You have seen it. You have seen the leistes, and you know what it means. Fantastic. Fantastic. And what is he doing anyway? I'm sorry. I just wanted to point out, what is he doing? He's using a modern translation of a document, right? Almost 2,000 years old, right? 1800, let's say, just to be safe, right? And that'll hit our apocryphal stuff too. Lucian too, everything. Has he ever read this thing in Greek? Absolutely not. I guarantee this dude hasn't, or he wouldn't be flashing up the English translation. Do you know if I did this in a classics course, they would laugh at me. Do you know what you do when you enter classics? You get rid of all your translations. You are no longer reading translations. In a lit course, read your translation. At the beginning of a course, read your translation. But when you are translating, you do not refer to translations, right? It's the way it is, people. Why? Why would you do that? Because you don't want it to be, you don't want it to be guiding your work. In other words, you want your own machinery, your own intellectual machinery to be working. Do you understand? But this guy is the divinity and theology people. They're trained in the very same way. They are interlinear translators. If they have 2 semesters of Greek, they've seen interlinear translations, so they memorize those. It imprints on them that way. They're not actually translating. Yeah, if you're going to read Apollonius of Rhodes and you're taking a classics course in the Greek of Apollonius of Rhodes, you read all of Apollonius of Rhodes in translation before you show up to class, so you know what the fuck you're talking about. But when you get into the translation, you leave. You're with the Greek text, dude. You don't mess with the You're gonna. Not only that, the instructors can tell. Did you know, as a Greek instructor, I can tell if you've been consulting translations too much and they're guiding your translation, right? And I'll tell you, welcome. You've got King James jism in your backside. I don't understand, man. What's going on? Right? Okay, let's keep going.
But a linen garment was following Jesus. When they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind. Based on this, what he wants to do is he wants to attempt to read the Koine Greek.
Okay. Objection, Your Honor. Why? What's the first things out of this dude's mouth? He's got evidence, a translation of evidence sitting here, and the first thing he tells you is, this is what this guy wants to do. You don't know what I want to do, and it's irrelevant what I want to do. You just flashed up evidence, so talk about it, right? But he can't. Wes Huff was asked, you want to talk to Ammon on Danny Jones? Nope, I'm too busy. This is before he went on Rogan. Why would Wes Huff run? Like run, Kip, run? Why do they all run? Because they can't actually read these texts, people.
Of this text from the New Testament, obviously the Bible, the New Testament, was not written in English, it was written in Greek. He wants to read this as Jesus saying, not am I leading a rebellion. He's going to argue the Greek term behind rebellion here, leistes, he's going to argue is a child trafficker.
Now, wait a minute. He just said rebellion. Rebellion is the word leistes. Do you understand? It's not, right? It's not at all, right? A rebellion is a thing, an event. A leistes is a person who does something. He doesn't even, you hear how I, as a classicist who've read these texts, do you understand how I can pick up right away on the fact that he doesn't read Greek? Yet he's trying. This is like a person who's never been trained in jujitsu. Yet he's going to step into the arena with some dude that's been doing it for 35 years because he stupidly thinks that he can take them. And the guy who's been doing it for 35 years recognizes, right? Oh, God, this guy is terribly trained and you're going to take him down. People, divinity degrees, theology degrees are worthless.
So in other words, he's going to portray Jesus as saying, are you accusing me of being a PDF file? And then he's saying, you know, he's in a garden at night praying, and evidently there was a young man here. He's going to argue linguistically that the young man here is I think he's going to argue slightly more than not prepubescent, but maybe 13 to 15 years old or so, somewhere around there. A young man who is
whatever you're comfortable with.
Not following.
Which, by the way, do you notice that people try to make themselves comfortable for the fact that Jesus was arrested with a naked juvenile? Do you notice that? It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, people.
Following Jesus, he's going to argue that the term here for following Jesus is actually attached to Jesus, meaning like is one of his traffic slaves or whatever.
Oh, look, he learned a little bit of Greek. He didn't know it, but he at least learned it through what I said, right? Fantastic there. I'm educating. Look, you should invite me to your seminary or your college or university, and I can do what I did for St. Mary's. I increased their enrollment, right? 5 different dioceses sent, and I got people writing me back saying, holy mackerel, those guys actually know the Greek that they're working with. Yeah, they do. And I could teach you too, friend, if your smugness wouldn't prevent you.
And that he had a garment, not a garment on, but a bandage on his member. And
you don't have to be ashamed. Everybody's got one, friend, right? And right, he had a bandage on his hoo-ha.
That he fled away naked. That Jesus was caught in a park at 4 a.m. With a naked young man who had.
Okay, he's going to suggest that Jesus was caught in a park at 4 in the morning with a naked young man. I'm not going to suggest. The Bible is suggesting that. And it's not suggesting it like maybe there's a possibility. It's just stating it. Scientifically, people, in a courtroom, if this is a witness, then all this man is doing is, sir, you're badgering the witness. Hang on, give me a second.
Had a bandaged whatever. And he was someone that was being trafficked, and Jesus's first claim is that, are you claiming I'm a PDF file? Okay, so what he does is he plays around with the Greek text of Mark 14.
He plays around with the Greek text. Listen, buddy, have you ever been to Europe on an international conference where you're talking to people from Oxford and people from the Sorbonne? Have you been talking to people who are archaeologists who really want to know if these texts are saying what they really say? Right? No. Who is this guy? Right? You have to ask yourself, what kind of weakling is this that the monists put out? What kind of weakling?
48 through 52, he plays around with the terms, and what he will try to do is he'll try to say, well, this Greek term could be translated this way, but it could also be translated that way. And the reason why all the biblical translators don't translate it like I do is because they're biased and this and that.
No, I don't say they could translate it one way or another. I say what the accurate is. Oh, I'm going to turn this ringer off. I apologize.
He'll try to make an argument, therefore, that his understanding and his interpretation, linguistic interpretation, is correct. And in reality, no linguist in the area, no expert in the field is going to agree with his translation of the biblical text. or his conclusions that he's making here. So it's not as if you have to be some kind of massive expert in languages here to really know that he's wrong. But
okay, people, I'm going to have to. Chewy and I have had an emergency here. There's something that we have to attend to immediately. I will be back perhaps today, perhaps not. And everything's fine with us. Thank you for coming. And hail Satan.
Lovely Diana. Rain with magic, death producer. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Her arrows darken the sky, a flight of ravens flying through. Orphic harp, dark lord melody shining through. Death inducer, raining blood, bite your lip. Bellissima in the vampire dress, cracking leather whips. Rain with your magic. Hail Satan, spells of Lucifer. Hail Satan, captain of the wheel. Hail Satan, the lake of fire is clear. Sing the muse. Rain with magic, death producer. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Goat head soup, it's magic. You can have a giant rubber devil in a tight dress. Whiplash. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Mr. Sandman with the hot purple anointing cream. It knocks him out. The drugs weigh a ton. Snow blonde, do your makeup. Girl, be my private dancer. Hakate says I'm her main squeeze. Lucifer the light bearer. Murder